Namaste, Jai Hind everyone. Welcome to MMK, the Eagle View. Hope you all had a very great festival time, starting from Dashera, then came the Diwali, and in South we do celebrate what we call it as Kartige Deepam, a very auspicious celebration of our Lord Muruga. Now, when we all have these great celebrations, we all get together. It's a moment of joy and enjoyment. There is something which was happening behind the screen, which eventually protected us from a major catastrophe. So let's see what it is exactly. On 19th of July this year, in a police station called Kotrod Police Limits, the police were on a regular routine patrol where they identified three youngsters who were trying to steal a bike. Now police got suspicious, they chased them, and eventually they all three were apprehended and they are taken to the police station and the routine inquiry begins. When something of this nature happens, we all know the police routinely see this kind of petty criminals and thugs and all the people who kind of steal motorbikes, cycles and whatnot, even the car jackers and so. So it was a routine inquiry. And one of these accused was asked his name. He fumbled and he gave two different names. The police got suspicious and then he is immediately asked to give his Aadhaar card. When they took the Aadhaar card and when they checked it online, the names were same but the faces were different. This means the Aadhaar which was produced by this third bike thief is found to be fake. The police got suspicious. They started their inquiry in their own way. And then later on the suspicion grew and then they took all these three guys to a very narrow lane which was identified as the residence. They went through a narrow lane, a very dingy place where it's like a 10 by 12 kind of a room, what we call it as mansions, bachelor mansions. They went there and when they opened the door, the threes they got jittery and all the three started running. So out of which police were able to catch two of them. The third guy eventually slipped away. And then when they entered the house, they had a shock of their life because what they saw there was a drone, handmade pistols, firearm pouches, bullets, incriminating materials, jihadi scripts of ISIS, and then do it yourself, bomb making stuff, and then few odd explosive chemicals which is used in making an IED, improvised explosive device. Now this was a pure shock. And who was arrested? Who was these three guys? One is Shanawaz Alam, Yunus and Saki. These are the three guys who were caught for stealing bike. Police had no clue that these guys are terrorists and that too from a terror module called ISIS. So eventually this case was handed over to the Mumbai Anti-Terrorism Squad ATS, Mumbai ATS. When Mumbai ATS got into this, they always have in communication with the premier investigating agency called NIA. They found to be the guy who slipped away, Shanawaz Alam, is basically NIA's most wanted terrorist who had a 3 lakh reward on his name. NIA has been searching him for the past 3 years. He is the guy who was part of this bike theft and eventually he slipped away. So now you got the story. The story is very interesting. It was a routine police patrolling which eventually led into a big ISIS terror module. This module's name was Sufa Group. Sufa Group is nothing but ISIS. It's just an offspring of it. And they also later arrested a person called Qadir Dastagar Patan, who's 32 years of age. So this guy had provided shelter to Saki and Yunus, who were arrested in this bike theft case. So when they went and saw this guy had got them employment, he was very much aware these two guys are ISIS terrorists and they are on the wanted list. They have been in search by Rajasthan police. These two guys come from Rajasthan. They came down all the way to Pune and they were sheltered by Qadir, well knowing that they are terrorists. So the accommodation was taken on Qadir's name. It was given to them. Both of them were trained in graphic designing, all this web designing stuff, so that these guys could alter or tamper with and do forged documents like Aadhaar and all this ID card stuff, KYC documents what we call. So they were also earning a salary of 8,000 employed in the shop, so everything was looking fine. None of them would actually see them as a terror suspects. They all are like normal common people. Now coming to the kingpin here, Shanawaz Alam. Who is Shanawaz Alam? He was caught by Delhi police in the month of October. 2nd of October, he was caught in Delhi. After literally July, he slipped away. 19th of July, he slipped away. So August, September, October, 3 months, NIA and multiple police, special forces and ATS was on continuous run. Finally, they pinned him down in Delhi. He was arrested in Delhi. And when they arrested him, so now Shahnaaz Alam is not a normal guy as we think of. Like we call it in Hindi, right? Unpad. He's not unpad. He's a well qualified mining engineer who graduated from National Institute of Technology. Now, when you speak about mining engineering, it eventually deals with explosives. So this guy is expert in handling explosives. He exactly know how explosives and chemicals works, how to make a IED, an improvised explosive device. Now, when all this call records and couple of other inputs were tracked, there was supposed to be a very serious incriminating document which was supposed to be recovered from Shahnaaz Alam. Delhi police raided it. They found laptops, they found all those electronic evidences, but they couldn't find what exactly they were looking for. So again, these two guys were taken back to their accommodation in the flat which they were staying in Delhi, and eventually they found that particular document to be concealed in the ceiling fan. Now when they opened the ceiling fan, they got the document. It is the blueprint of how to make an IED. It's a basic engineering design of how to make an IED, improvised explosive device. Those circuits, how do you compress it, how do you prime it, and how do you detonate it. So everything was found. So this guy was taken on custody. Later NIA took the case from Delhi Special Police. Now when you look at Shahnaaz Alam, so he is subordinate. When Delhi was not arrested alone, there was one more guy subordinate with him. His name is Arshad Varsi. When surprising fact is, Arshad Varsi is an MBA graduate and he is currently pursuing his PhD. Right? So they are not normal uneducated guys. They are very well qualified guys. And he seems to be a student of, I think the AIM, Aligarh Muslim University, if I am not wrong. Subject to verification, those material description link is given in the description, you can find from that. So all these two guys were packed up, and then later Maharashtra ATS did a massive search operation. The search was on for months, lot of places were raided, 47 witnesses were recorded, and finally they busted the biggest Maharashtra ISIS module. When this module was busted, so who all were there? The master kingpin was Zulfikar Ali. Zulfikar Ali, who was based out of Pune, is a senior project manager with an IT MNC with a CTC of 35 lakhs. His counterpart, who was actually making these explosive devices, was Shahnaaz, a mining engineer from National Institute of Technology. Along with them was Kader Patan, a graphics designer, Imran Khan and Yunif Saki, their deputies. And then we have Nashan and Sami. All these guys had a handler code named Mohammed. We really don't know who is the handler, but they had been busted. This module has been busted, and a lot of incriminating stuff has been taken from them. So what is the crux of the story is, they were preparing IEDs. They were using preparing IEDs with DIY, do it yourself modules, which is circulated by the parent ISIS group. So now ISIS doesn't have the financial or the logistic muscle to send explosives or an explosive device here. So they made their life simple by sending a DIY document, do it yourself. And these days the composition of chemical sounds, everything is available in the internet and YouTube. If you are smart enough, you will be able to make a explosive like this. So these guys had this. So they had this IEDs. They made these IEDs. Proper coaching was given by this guy Shahnaaz Alam, who was coaching all these guys how to make an IED. The IEDs were taken to the jungles of Satara, Pune and Nasik. It's a very beautiful, nice place where you will have thick forest and jungles. They used the foliage, they went there. They used drone photography cameras to find out how far this place is devoid of humans. How secluded it is, all this reconnaissance was done. Finally, they tested this explosive devices, IEDs, in the jungles of Maharashtra. They, what we call as a yield of an explosive device, what much an impact it can create. So those things were recorded and they were continuously improving the yield of these IEDs. So when this material was traced, So the locations were traced from their mobile phones and digital evidences and through human intelligence. So the Maharashtra ATS went all the way to the jungles, and then traces of ammonium nitrate and all these explosive devices were found in those jungles, and they had a shock of their life. What exactly is happening with this module? They also found an Excel sheet, interestingly, which had code words. The interesting code words, let me see. They have code worded sulfuric acid as sirka, which is nothing but vinegar, hydrogen peroxide as sharbat, and then acetone as something else. So it has a list of code words which we commonly use, like sharbat pina yaar, sharbat leke aaja, like bring a glass of sharbat. It is nothing but hydrogen peroxide. So these explosives were actually physically transported. They were not using a GSM call, a normal call what we make over a phone. They were not using it. They were using all these communication labs like WhatsApp, Signal and Telegram, and they were using code words so that none of the people could actually find it. So these explosives were transported by them without detection to all those remote jungles by means of this code words, and certain explosives went all the way till Rajasthan. Eventually Rajasthan's police finally found out and they raided them. That's a different story altogether. What happened in Rajasthan was a Mahindra Bolero was passing through a police checkpost, a mobile checkpost. They eventually didn't stop, they broke the barrier and they started moving. When Maharashtra, like the Rajasthan police, end of the day, they chased them, they intercepted them, and when their vehicles were searched, there were kgs of ammonium nitrate and other explosives. So when they interrogated them, this linked to this Maharashtra ISIS module. Now another important update is, after these guys were caught, okay, so there is a mining engineer, there is a software engineer, there is a qualified doctor who was part of Pune, who was also part of this ISIS module, and parallelly NIA was connecting various dots. Close to 700 locations were raided across India, especially in places like UP, Bihar, Rajasthan, Delhi, Maharashtra, Kerala and in Bihar. So these 5 locations forms their entire module where they were active. So parallelly there was a inquiry which was NIA case which was filed on the Pulwari Sharif. So the Pulwari Sharif case is the ideal term to be used here. Bihar's police went and raided Pulwari Sharif on a specific intelligence. When they raided, they found very, very seriously incriminating ISIS materials from the PFI cadre. We know the Popular Front of India has been banned by the government of India last year. So the PFI cadres were in possession of these incriminating materials and electronic evidences and cash and couple of other links with this global modules. So one of the document which was caught there was India 2047 towards rule of Islam in India, internal document not for circulation. So this document really shocked the entire intelligence community, because it's about implementing an Islamic rule by 2047. How do we achieve it? What's the plan for it? What is to be done? And who all will be involved? Who will fund this? So that's a master document which was caught by these guys in the Pulwari Sharif. 13 suspects were arrested and 3 charge sheets were filed by NIA. And one of the kingpin of this is Anwar Rashid, who is an ex-SIMI, Students Islamic Movement of India. He was actually propagating this printed materials and e-versions of this, the PDF files of this, for promoting the ideologies of PFI. So when this was done, NIA did a simultaneous raid in 6 states, starting from Shaheen Bagh and Chandni Chowk in Delhi, Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh, Thane and Mumbai in Maharashtra, Tong district, Rajasthan, Lucknow, Kanpur and Gorakhpur, Uttar Pradesh, and Madurai in Tamil Nadu. So all these locations were raided, and all the connected people, the PFI module was busted, and they were all taken into custody, and the case is on now. Now coming back to the Pune terror module, Maharashtra ATS are finally able to pin this entire thing. Now let's understand what is the objective of these guys, what they were trying to do. They were trying to take revenge. I don't know for what reason they keep taking revenge. They were told to take revenge, and the 2 targeted place was Akshardham Temple, Delhi, and Ayodhya Temple, So these 2 temples have been targeted during the festive season. That's the key. So that's why I started that when we all celebrate a happy Diwali, Dashera, there are hidden hands which is kind of protecting the society. So the 7 states police department, their anti-terrorism squads, NIA, and a lot of other intelligence agencies has been involved in this operation, and that is how they are able to name this new offshoot of ISIS, a new terrorist group called Sufa group, which was based out of Maharashtra. Now the tentacles have been widespread. You know how the module really has been working in this. So we had chases in Rajasthan. It like if you make a movie out of it, I'm sure if a good director can make it a super hit movie. That's a kind of a threat we are living in. If a terrorist attack is not happening, if a bomb blast is not happening, it doesn't mean the terrorists don't exist. We have been protected by the security forces, by these police forces continuously, and every state is creating its own, is in the process of creating its own anti-terrorism squad. So Tamil Nadu government has now announced a special anti-terrorism squad, headed by a IG and a specialized force of police, and they've also allocated 65 crores for it. So that's a level of threat in the current scenario we are living in. Radicalization is becoming a big nuisance. It was a big nuisance. Now it is becoming a serious security threat for the internal security of the country. This needs to be nipped at the edge of it. It shouldn't grow. If we let it grow, we going to face a sizable amount of problems due to it. And if you remember in the past, 2012, 2009 and 12, where we had series of bomb blasts in various cities, many companies, investments and things they hesitate to come to such locations where you have a security threat, especially due to terrorism. We don't want that thing to again happen, and we don't want a Mumbai kind of an attack being carried out, because the amount of explosives and stuff which they were caught from this Sufa group terror module can create a much bigger havoc than what we saw on November 26th in 2008. So this is a classical operation of how good we can succeed when all the security forces and state governments and central government work together as a team. Keeping the politics away from this entire stuff is the key, because if you politicize this, either opposing it or appeasement, whichever way, it is not going to do any good for our internal security. Hope you like this video and how this entire operation worked. We are not divulging or we are not giving away any sensitive topics. These are all based on the open source information which is available on the internet. Those who are interested to read in detail are welcome to do so. You can go and check it out in the description column. We will again come out with a very interesting video of how the drug cartel works. Our team is working on. All we require is your support, because this lot of time, energy and effort goes into it. Lot of hours and hours of time goes into researching this to present you the best possible and realistic content, true fact-based content, rather than speaking. There is no jingoism we are going to do in our channel. So it is all going to be fact-based. So Aditya will also come out with the next video on the geopolitical front, and I will be coming out with the next video on the internal security front. So do support us, do like, share and subscribe. And any criticism, any comments, any brickbats, any bouquets are welcome as usual. Please put it in the comment box. Thank you all. Jai Hind.